This is the MW Music Podcast with me, Matthew Littler.
And me, William Stephen.
And now we'll shut the music up.
Fair enough, that's a new introduction. Hope you like it.
Yeah, by a band that was nondescript because we can't say things. How are you then, Will?
All good. Tired after a long week.
A long week of work.
Yes, 5 nights in a row. Don't like it.
I only had to work 4, so it was awesome.
Because you're gay.
True, I am, but as this is a music podcast, we're going to obviously jump straight into the music as we always do. One time, because it's our second time.
Yes, it is. And with this one, we kind of have an order of what we want the podcast to be about. Because in a way, it's our attempt to try and save the music that we love.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to save it. We aren't particularly
spreading the word.
Spreading the word.
Great albums.
Over the 50 followers on Twitter, even though nothing's been uploaded yet. How awesome are we?
Jesus didn't get all his disciples in one day.
No, he got 12. 11.
Not all in
12.
one day.
That black dude. Chris Rock was in it.
You're thinking Dogma.
How do you know Chris Rock wasn't in it? How do you know Chris Rock's not immortal? All black people seem to not age. Have you not looked at Will Smith?
If you follow the Mormon Bible, black people can only get into heaven as slaves.
But I don't follow the Mormon Bible, so that's irrelevant to this point.
But if the Mormons are right about that particular aspect, then Chris Rock will not be one amongst the disciples.
Fair enough. Anyway, on the last podcast, we said that we would be talking about our top 5 albums, Will. And you seem to have had trouble with this.
Yes. Inability to make a decisive decision.
You are indecisive.
Yes. So I take it by that you're meaning that I'm to start.
Yes, you are going to start because I had to do the intro. Okay. All epically like it was if the music actually got picked up.
How are we doing this? Am I reading them off and then...
Then we'll talk.
Talk. Okay. In no particular order.
These are his top 5 albums that he's ever listened to. Obviously, that may be subject to change if there is anything that's awesome one day.
That's true. So I'll start off. I'll try and go in year they came out. Paranoid, Black Sabbath. Everyone should have that album in the top 5.
I don't.
Because you're gay. Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Slipknot's Iowa. Lamb of God's Wrath. And Blackstone Cherry's self-titled album.
Fair enough.
Blackstone Cherry.
What made you pick them particular ones out of the 15 that you've got on a list? What made you whittle them down to them 5?
A mixture really of sentimental reasons, and how I think they were pivotal in the development of what I listen to and the genres that they come from. Okay, your phone's, you see, silent.
I'm not sticking on silent in case I get a call, but I can answer it straight away, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, so that's really the reason why. So if we're gonna break this list down, or are you gonna fire questions?
No. Talk about it, then I'll speak little bits and bobs as we go.
Okay, so Blackstone Cherry's first album. Well, me more than you, because I love rock music. Rock music is probably my first love over, probably more than metal is. But for me, this harnessed a lot of new things. It had the old energy of bands like Lynyrd Skynyrd, and your blues type rock stuff, as well as having the newer elements that the post grunge era brought along, like such as Nickelback and stuff like that. And it's just full of raw energy and lots of sing-along songs. So it was a great album, and it's something I've always listened to each week. Great live band, great.
I've never seen them. I have got the opportunity when I go to download in June, but I think I'm going to go to Slipknot just because I love Slipknot.
Yeah, that's a difficult choice. No, but it's great. Some killer tracks on like Hell or High Water.
Oh yeah, I don't get me wrong. I'll listen to them, but they're not one of them bands I love.
Yeah. So next on the list, Slipknot, Iowa. Now Slipknot for me is a I've really taken the forefront. They after the big four for me, there was quite a lull in the metal such. There was a few bands that popped along, like Machine Head and FU, but for me, Slipknot really re-energized the genre, and they're was such an amazing band and pivotal band really because the mixture of so many different elements with it being a 9-piece band. So you've got your metal stuff, you've got your synths and your electronic stuff, and then you've got your percussion, and you got your hip hop in there. So altogether, it comes together into this new. I know it's called new metal, but
New metal, yeah.
It's kind of like most of that genre is crap. So to try and associate something so good with a genre that's mainly crap,
It's one of them things. They were a different sound at the end of the day, and their sound is as close as it can be to new metal than you'd go to say to any other type. You couldn't say they were thrash. You couldn't say they're heavy metal. Really, it isn't that sound. It does sound like a good version of new metal because that's what the genre pretty much stipulates. Would be the word, I think.
Fair enough. And for me, it's one of the very few bands where each album you listen to there is you're listening to a Slipknot album, but at the same time, each album sounds different.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which to a lot of people sounds like a contradiction, but if you ever listen to Slipknot, you'll know what I mean. So So go back to Iowa especially. I think it mixed some of the frenzied energy which you got from the debut album, and kind of gave you glimpses on stuff to come with the more melancholy side. Slipknot like that kind of fruition in their last album. So next, so I've talked Black Sabbath, I've talked Slipknot. Let's go for California. Let's go for Californication. And not top Black Sabbath.
No, you've done Blackstone Chair. I thought you'd get that eventually, so I left you to it.
Yeah, Paranoid. For me, this is the album that really started metal. I think if anyone hands you asks you the question where did metal start, you would hand them a Black Sabbath album, and really you could go with any one of the first 4 albums.
Oh yeah.
For me, the Paranoid album it's just brilliant, and so many subgenres have
spawned from it.
Spawned from your progressive stuff, your black metal with a lot of the melancholy and occult stuff. So a lot of genres took their heat from this album, and I think and the way if you listen to each album, the best thing about their album is the rhythm section, and it's just brilliant to focus on that from a musical perspective. Focus on the way the drums and the bass mix, and where that really starts really the star of the album. The way it dictates the tempo and the mood of the albums. Another great thing about the album is because I listen to stuff from the 60s as well, although I'm not of that age. I do listen to Rolling Stones and the Beatles and stuff from that age. But in a songwriting form, this album changed things in a certain sense, because it would have an intro. Musically have an intro. The music bit, and then another intro. It would go from one to the other and back again. This is a musical word, so I heard in a documentary. But anyway, you can tell when you listen to it that the traditional way a song is formed, they've kind of turned it on its head and messed around a bit. Anyway, so Californication, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Again, going back to the rock stuff I like. For me, it's the funk element of this album that really, it's a rock album that makes you not want to drink or do all these stuff that traditional rock albums do, like Aerosmith. It's more of a, because of the funk element, it's more of a get up and dance album, and it's just a great sounding album. It's very soothing to listen to, which is great after a stressful day of doing, when it first came out, of doing exams and all that type of stuff. It's a great way to relax, and it stuck with me because of that. Helped me through a lot of times. And back to think something like this is a band which I think, again, currently they've been around for a long time, but recently they've come to the forefront of the genre. Actually, one of the very few saving graces at the moment. Lamb of God, and I've gone for the Wrath album, which many people would be, including my co-host, will be going, why? Because we've discussions, and he's, if I remember rightly, what album would you say is the best Lamb of God album?
I can't remember any albums. Well, I love Lamb of God, but I just like the band as a general. Crap, literally, I can't remember any names because I'm terrible with names.
Sacrament, which is a lot which brought them to the forefront.
No,
but
it's not Sacrament for me.
But there's one before that
it's the one with Laid to Rest. Ashes of the Wake.
There we go.
Just a brilliant album.
See, terrible with names, but yeah, that's the album. Now I've gone for Wrath because lyrically it goes a lot of political views that I have, and angsty kinda. Where it's recording, don't worry.
Sorry, I'm just checking if it's still. I don't know if it's in the background, if it stops automatically.
No, it's not.
Because it'd be funny once that halfway through, you're just like, shit, it's not recorded any of what I've just said.
Anyway, going back to the point, the reason I picked it is because, as well as any Lamb of God album, you can really just bang your head to and growl along to if that's what you do to certain metal albums. No, this one, like I said, there's a lot of political views and angst that I had that came through in this song, and especially about how I view religion and such. But again, it's just a great sounding album, and it's just Lamb of God had this way. It's everyone say they produce the same album each time. I mean, it's the same sound, the same album. But if that album, if that album itself is great, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if every album sounds the same. But for me, it doesn't. That's what most people say. But no, this album, again, lyrically, I like it the best. Still, I had to have a Lamb of God album in there in my top 5 because it's one of my favourite metal bands.
Yeah, that's fair enough, really. You know, Lamb of God are a great band anyway, so it always helps.
So let's hear you tear this album apart, tear my top 5 apart.
I have nothing against the top 5. I'm not a fan of Black Stone Cherry. I can listen to them. I own an album,
which you gave to me.
Did I give you to it? Oh yeah, you didn't have it, did you?
I had it on copy.
Yeah. No, you didn't. Legally, with every bit of music. But no, it's a fair enough
thing. From a friend, I put it on my computer, which you're now allowed to do apparently. You're now allowed to put an album onto your computer, so that's all I did.
It's up to 3 users or something.
I just didn't own the album.
No, that's fair enough.
But no, I actually have it. Well, this comes back because we had different routes. Whereas I went from traditional rock, and from that's going from 60s, like traditional rock. So I know there's a difference. Yeah. So rock music as such, the overall genre of rock, into then the heavier stuff, metal, death metal, and all that type of stuff. You went punk, then metal. So we kind of took a different route into
which
the
is actually
alternative.
Kind of represented in this, what I've got my top 5 but thing. But other than that, no, I'm not going to rip apart anything. As you know, I'm not a fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers. I just can't get on with it, but I've got no doubt of what they are. They are a band, and however many million people can't be wrong at the end of the day. They're a band that will always... They've released good albums, but for me, it's just not something I enjoy.
No.
I'm trying to think who else was on there. Slipknot. Well, I'm seeing Slipknot in June. I don't like them. No. I'm just being forced, clearly. But no, Slipknot, everything they've released is. Not everything is great.
I disagree. I love it all.
I don't think everything they released is great. I didn't like Sulphur from the new album.
It's more melancholy. I say no.
Yeah, it's like most of the stuff's fantastic. There's just a couple of things, but overall they've released 4 brilliant albums. But there is just a couple of things which are just specks on like. But
That's like
I want to say, if you've released 4 albums and you've got 2-3 songs that are, I wouldn't say bad, but not as good as the rest, are you really going to complain at that point? Really?
No, not really.
No, as I say, most stuff by Slipknot I'll happily love, but there are a couple of bits I'm just not a fan of. As I say, Sulphur was one of them. There's a couple of songs I can't even remember names. You know, I think there's a couple of things from Iowa.
Wow,
I can't remember names.
Great
as I say, but I'm more of a Slipknot first album guy.
We'll probably discuss it at a later point because if we're going to talk about pivotal bands, regardless of whether there's a few songs which people don't like, Slipknot. Slipknot have got to be big on because
no doubt
in the end of the 90s, beginning of the new century, metal was really, I wouldn't say dying because metal never dies as such, but there wasn't anything there to bring it to the forefront as such.
It goes into the background like everything. It goes in circles. Metal's come back in a big. The metal genre, even if it's not all good or not great, has come back in a big way over the last few years.
I don't want to say necessarily say it died. I think it goes through lulls where something else just takes the foot.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
takes the.
I would never say it dies. As I say, it goes in. It's like ups and downs of everything.
It shows its strength by staying around after that particular fad is.
I think it's like in pop music. 3-4 years ago, you would see nothing but R&B in the charts. But if you look now, a lot of the thing, you get the One Directions, the Biebers, which you get a lot of the younger ones. But if you look a lot, it's more the heavy vocals. You've got the Adeles, you've got Mumford and Sons and stuff like that, which are like the indie kind of country soulful musics. But you didn't get that 4 years ago, so everything goes up and down.
That is true.
Yeah, and Amy Winehouse steals Valerie from the Zootons, the bastard.
She still does one of the...
Oh, she's fantastic, but that Mark Ronson thing really annoyed me. And I don't think it's the song. The song she does well.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, yeah. She's a fantastic artist and she just fucked her life up completely. But for me, it's like that, and it's kind of like you get a lot of songs, and I have this with, Glee recently, which I showed you earlier. Yes. The song will be remembered for the person who not made it, but who created it, but which happens a lot. Like Tainted Love, as an example, is not a soft sell song.
No, you covered it from someone else.
It's Gloria Jones from like a long time before, but they made that song. At the end of the day, they made that song famous.
Yeah, and even then, I don't associate it. So I associate it with Marilyn Manson. But that's because I'm
that's the first one I heard.
That's because I'm a Manson fan, so...
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
So, what else is there of notes on my list?
Paranoid. There's just nothing we have to say about it. It's Paranoid. It's a brilliant album, and without them taking that risk and going, let's do something different, I think we would get it, but we might be 10 years behind where we are.
Right, it's a testament to an album which you can take from, I think it was 1969 when it came out, 1969.
Something like that. As I say, I can always have a look.
Wow.
Having the tablet in front of me, being all gay like this.
Well, I'm going to say 69, and let me probably prove me wrong. But it's a testament to an album when you can take it out of that year and say it was by a band that started 2 months ago. It doesn't get old. It's
September 1970. So you're pretty close.
Okay, so
it's probably recorded when you say, but released in the 70s.
So it's just a timeless album, which, like I say, musically great and haunting when it comes to the haunting. Not with the music and the lyrics together. It's kind of a haunting experience.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, really. As I
That,
say, any metal lover, and I know I haven't got it on my list. It's not my favourite albums, but I will happily listen to that album as much as it's put in front of me. You know what I mean? So.
Well, you've three of your bands are not necessarily bands that are well known, but they're good. They're good for you.
Surprisingly, though, one of them, it's not well known over here. That one, before I say it, are selling out like massive venues over in America.
Oh yes, that's how I
Which
find
makes sense. It seems hard. Right, again, no particular order because if you went on pure size, there's the obvious order, but Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast.
Yeah.
Clearly. First album with Bruce.
That's true. Well,
One song on there which I think is completely underrated.
Yes, it is indeed. We've enjoyed many car journeys with that song.
Blue October's History for Sale, which I love. Real Big Fish's Cheer Up. I was going to say Cheer Me Up for some reason, but Cheer Up.
It's not that bad. It's alright. Keep smiling.
I'm sorry. Oh no, and then I listened to the album. Fine. Goldfinger's Disconnection Noise. I think I spelt it wrong there. I'm not sure. And Rush's 2112.
See, yes, the three bands that we're talking about, which aren't made well known. Well, Blue October, they're massive in America. They tour all over the place.
Texan band.
Texas band.
Yeah.
Again, though, you say you don't like him, but Blue October are very similar in many ways.
I'd say the lyrical content probably is, but the voice isn't.
And the voice, he did more gravel.
It's never with him. It's never for me. It's never the lyrics. It's purely music and his voice. It's the band.
The music's very similar. I don't think the only thing different is Vil Velo from him sounds more like a crooner, where like a crooner, like the Frank Sinatra.
Okay, sorry, yeah,
that type of crooning.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Now, sorry, I was like, what?
Whereas Justin has more of a post-grunge type voice.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you on that.
It's okay. You got Real Big Fish, which is for ska fans out there.
If you're a ska fan and you don't know that band, it's like, why?
But ska as a genre, though, is one of the... It's
dead.
It's a subculture within a subculture.
It's one of them things where it died at the end of the 90s completely, and then it has been reincarnated as a, but very little. It's a very niche market. At the end of the day, they'll sell out the Corporation in Sheffield, which is what 1,500. It's not really a big venue. And they struggle to sell it out, so who knows?
Yeah, if you like it, it's all that matters.
Yeah. For me, I will. I've been to 10 tours now, and I'll keep going because.
What is it about ska? Because you've not sold me on it, but you like it.
It's just a fun music. You don't need to. Go into it. You don't have to. You can just listen and enjoy. It's the only thing you need to do. There is no complete message, but no, it's just a music you can just sit and enjoy, and I think it's a very summery music. It's very summery.
Fair enough.
And with the weather how it is, it's not a good music to listen to because it's shit out there.
Anything that puts a smile on your face is always good.
Yeah.
So you got Goldfinger, which is, to me, sounds like they watched Bond as a child.
It's a very good chance. But Goldfinger's Disconnection Noise is just... I love the album. It's one of them albums I can't not just listen to over and over and over in my car.
Just tell us a little bit about the band, because not many people know it. Will know them.
How do you know, Will? Everyone might know them. No listeners so far. Goldfinger? Pretty much it's one guy in that band, and whoever he gets to back up the band when he tours. It's just a punk with a bit of ska in there, depending on thing. If you're gonna have heard any songs, you're talking Spokesman and Superman. They were big on the Tony Hawk's games. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, if I remember rightly. For some reason, both of them were on it. they're a bit political, they're a bit this, they're a bit party. They're that nice in between of a band, if you think you can listen, depending on the song you listen to. But they're a bit. They've never made it big, which with a lot of the people in the genre, they're never going to make that much money. But again, it's not always about the money.
No, it's about making. If you're happy what you're doing, to doing what you're doing, and that's the main thing, isn't it?
It's about making the music at the end of the day. So
it is. No point selling out like some of these bands do. Paramore.
I don't think they've sold out well. No, not now, because that last album was shit. They can't have sold out.
They sold out because they tried to do an album of something that sounds like that of a sound that's popular.
But it's not.
They did something.
Not really.
It's like they're thinking, okay, we want to get in the top 20. We're going to go try and find the sound which
they have been at the BBC studios recently.
Exactly, they're trying to be.
The thing is, with that album, they didn't need to do it because they were already
teetering.
They were already selling out arenas and stuff. They didn't need to change a sound, but you've got to remember at the end of the day, half the band was fired. So
you're going from being shit to even shit.
I clearly bought the last album
for your girlfriend.
For my girlfriend, clearly, she likes them. But to just give it a listen, I ain't listened to the band ever since like the first album, and they've completely changed to like a CSS sound, as I said to you earlier. I cannot remember the name of that band, but it doesn't really matter at the moment. And it just sounds awful. Every track was just like terrible. It was either that or some sort of acoustic shit. Well, and don't get me wrong, acoustic's not always a bad thing, but yeah.
Let's not give them further attention.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so these two bands people know. We'll go to the first one, which Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast.
Clearly, the first thing we have to mention, Bruce Dickinson.
Invaders,
the first track on that album. Great, because it's the first time you ever heard his voice, and B, he used to live around the corner from here.
Until he was 4.
Until he moved to somewhere else because he, works up to shithole.
So why the Number of the Beast album in particular?
It might not have the best songs. There are better songs than what's on Number of the Beast, but for me, I think it was the best overall album. Every track was just brilliant.
Yeah.
It as I say, it's not necessarily got the best songs. I liked Running Free, which I don't believe that's on that album. The Troop obviously came from Peace of Mind. Yeah, it did.
See, my favourite Maiden is Seventh Son of a Seventh Son.
No, that's a fair enough thing. They're a band that's great. They've had a couple of blips. Definitely had a couple of blips.
It was just the 2 albums that they did with Blaney.
Yeah. See, one of them I didn't mind too much, which was the one with the robot on the front.
X Factor?
No, the other one.
Was it X Factor that was one?
X Factor was the one where he's in the electric, like, strap machine. I'm talking about the one where he's in the town.
I black it out.
I didn't mind that album. The X Factor had a couple of alright songs, but either way, as soon as they got Bruce back, it was fine. He's in a band where, yes, the first album was great and the second album was also great. I don't think they would have become this international this band as they are without his voice fronting it.
No.
Steve Harris is a great songwriter, but unless you've got the vocals to match the power of the band, there's no point of having anyone.
No.
Not to that.
That's true. The reason why I say Seventh Son is because if you're a true Maiden fan, then you would identify there has been a transformation in there.
Sorry, I thought it was beer and it's whiskey.
Okay, while he's talking, I'll try and discuss this. There's been a transformation in their sound between the snappy 4-minute metal songs to the more progressive. Each album's got a concept behind type thing, and I think Seventh Son of the Seventh Son is where that all started. You have your 4 or 5 minute songs like Can I Play with Madness, but then you also have epic songs such as Moonchild and Infinite Dreams and
a lot of the songs come from old folklore, poetries and
the occult.
So. But at the end of the day, even with them, they have the occult and everything. None of the actual songs sound like you're going to hell.
Demonic. No,
No,
it's not Black Sabbath demonic.
No, they're a very upbeat band when you look at it. Some of the maybe later stuff, it's a lot slower and a lot. You know, when you hit like Death on the Road, not Death on the Road, Dance of Death area, they got a lot slower and especially in the new albums.
Where a lot of people don't like the last album. I loved it.
Final Frontier.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like it.
See, I liked both Final Frontier and I enjoyed Matter of Life and Death, but it's very different. I understand where people's angst came from in that. It's
because people still expect. I think a lot of people still expect them to do albums like they did in the mid '80s.
Yeah, people go. Well, I liked Killers as an album from them. Every album should be like that. It's just like
some bands.
Why not listen to that album?
Some bands can do that. Like I said, Lamb of God can do a similar sounding album, and each album sounds great. AC/DC can do that.
Oh yeah, AC/DC can.
Every album is about sex and drugs and booze. Some bands can do that. Some bands like to develop the sounds, and that's what I made. It went into more progressive elements, and for me as a fan of progressive music, it's like bands such as Pink Floyd and from bands from that genre. I really enjoyed the later albums.
Oh, that's fair enough.
And the last one is probably a progressive classic. Talking about progressive music. You've gone for Rush 2112.
I love that album. Other than, as I say, the main track you hit obviously is 2112. It's a 21-minute song.
Is it actually 12 seconds as well?
No, it's like 38. It's the year. 2112 is the year. Music has been guitars and everything have been outlawed. You can't have them anymore. But surprisingly, we have gone in. It is not a concept song. The whole song's about like being in the. He finds a guitar in a cave, plucks it, brings the sound, plays it, and he's just somehow awesomely good at it. And the song is just brilliant from start to finish. His thing. It's a very slow song, but as you say, it's telling the story. But as I say, they have said, not a concept.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that.
The song in itself is probably a concept, but the rest of the album's completely different. The other 4 songs on that album is completely different. It's completely different to everything else that one song has. Rush, obviously. Geddy Lee.
Butler? Is it Butler?
Which one are you talking about?
Trying to think of the band members.
Well, there's Neil Peart.
Neil Peart, just drums.
Fuck knows who the guitarist
Geddy Lee, I think one.
Geddy Lee's the bassist vocalist.
It's really bad. We're going to do a music podcast and we don't know the.
I don't give a crap as long as I love the band. It doesn't matter what people are called. The band is what matters at the end of the day.
Give them true thanks.
I do thank them. I'm very happy
for purchasing their albums. Okay.
I have 9 Rush albums in my collection.
For some reason,
3 of them are live. I don't know why. I think it was like at that time because obviously HMV and that to get a Rush album from like the original ones, they cost a small fortune. You're talking 15, 20 quid. Granted, I really should buy them if I love them that much. But why not just buy the albums for like 3 quid if I can get them remastered?
Right as well. Sometimes you get a lot of the kinks out of the original recordings.
Yeah.
Although some people would argue that some of those kinks add to the.
Oh yeah,
add to the sound.
And to your thing, it's Alex Lifeson.
Okay.
Alex Lifeson.
I was getting Geezer, but I was getting him mixed up with Black Sabbath.
That's Sabbath,
Geezer Butler. Sorry, Geezer.
Well, okay. Either way, we're giving them thanks because Rush is a great band, Sabbath is a great band. Okay. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, a brief interlude to tell you some wonderful news that we got before even recorded our second.
We recorded our first one, but it has not yet to be put on anywhere.
So to you, this will be news as such. But as it's from your exploits, I would like you take over and explain to our lovely viewers.
There really wasn't much in it. I asked for a shout out. I got an interview. I'm going to be interviewing MC Lars at the Slam Dunk North Festival, Leeds, on the 25th of May. So it's a fair way away still, but I'm excited because I'm a big fan of him. I love his albums.
So am I. And so the people who don't know that, he is. Let me get this right. Post-punk laptop rapper.
Yes, nerdcore. In other
Or
words,
some people later dubbed it nerdcore, but he calls himself post-punk laptop rap hip hop.
yeah, it's pretty much, for anyone who doesn't listen to him, it's pretty much all his stuff's it's hip hop with nerd culture. It would probably be the best way to describe it. Comics. Oh crap! I can't even think off the top of my head. Just really nerdy crap. You can tell he's white.
Yeah, because he's as much as his songs with the lyrically are fantastic, his rapping skills, even he admits aren't. There's only a white person. There's only ever been one decent white rapper, and it's Eminem. For some reason, it seems to be genetically impossible for white people to do hip hop.
It's because white men can't jump.
Yes.
On the beat. Dum. Woody Harrelson. Yeah, he isn't the. I think he isn't the greatest rapper, and I hope he doesn't listen to this. He isn't, but his lyrics are brilliant.
And it makes you laugh.
It makes you
and
laugh.
Smile. And end of the day, that's a good reason to listen to any music.
Oh yeah,
it makes you smile.
I will be asking him when we do the interview because I would love to hear the song live. I want to hear "Venomous Box of Jellyfish" again. From the name of the title, you can probably guess how crazy the lyrics are. "Venomous Box Jellyfish" from the most recent album.
"Devil Is My Roommate" would be the song that I would like to see him play.
"Roommate from Hell."
"Roommate from Hell."
Yeah, but you need MC Chris just to be able to do them lyrics.
Yeah,
his voice pisses me off too, but
he does it on a laptop. He could have that post and go play.
He has that obviously with Space Game. You know, with
K-Fly.
What?
No,
you're just randomly saying words now, aren't you? No, DJ Hal. You know the voice recording where he plays the guitar solo. He's like, I can't do that. I've got to play this awesome guitar solo, which is a recorded voice. He has all that on it anyway because it's all laptop. As you say, it's all done through the laptops. But yeah, an interview will be done on the 25th of May. As it's a Saturday, it won't be posted till the week after because we need to record and we're going to slot it into the podcast because it'll just be easy, and it gives us like a 10-minute window where we don't really have to say anything.
That is true.
Yeah, it fills time.
So back to the order of play. Is it worth mentioning a few albums that we wanted to put in our list?
Yeah, but there's no doubt that you can probably say these.
I'm not really going to mention them all because I did write a big list.
There's 15, Will. You've already said 5.
System of a Down Toxicity was one that I was oohing and ahhing about. And Slayer's Christ Illusion. And Metallica's Black Album. I'm not denigrating their greatness because they are truly great albums. It's just trying to condense the list down to 5 and stuff. I just thought it best to go for more stuff mainly that I looked on my iTunes and I noticed I played a lot. So really, which is a lot of the things. So I would put in a top 10. I would have to put those 3 albums in. It's just when you try and condense it down to 5, and it's either or. You just gotta go with your gut feeling, and that's what I did.
That's fair enough. Sorry, I had to quickly nip out the room. Did you mention the extra albums?
I didn't mention the extra albums.
Fair enough. Which one did you mention? I had Toxicity.
Toxicity.
Album.
Black Album by Metallica, which is just called Metallica, but everyone knows it by the black cover.
With the little snake on it.
The little snake, and Slayer's Christ Illusion.
See, I like 2 of the 3. As you know, I'm not a Metallica fan. I'm a Megadeth fan.
Oh, fucking awful.
I prefer him. The end of the day, and I feel really bad about. I'm going to say this: Metallica should be taken out of the Big 4. Not because of the way they are or what they did, because of the music now. If you're going to go with top 4 thrash bands, unless they are going to continuously play thrash, if they in this thing, Metallica currently currently should be taken out of the top 4.
Yeah, except you have been thrash since
Yeah.
Black. Well, not in Black album. Anything
Yeah,
creepy.
it was that was the
Yeah, I
first.
think they call it the Big Four because they were the ones that started the genre, not because that's what they still
Well,
are.
they didn't start it; they've pioneered it.
Just that particular subgenre, thrash. They kind of.
Anvil. Anvil came first.
But they were more like the Saxon sound.
The thrash, clear thrash.
Yeah, but that's not. See, we can't go starting dubbing things. This is already decided by people long ago. That
Yeah, it's
the
just a
Big
personal
Four,
opinion.
those who kick-started the genre.
I would agree. That one kick-started the genre.
Might as well create it if you're going to kick-start it.
No, not really.
Anyway, this is a debate to have when we actually talk in length about thrash metal.
No, that's fair enough.
No, I suppose I always say the big four, as you might want to dispute. I would say Slayer were the best.
No, I completely agree. Slayer overall are the best of the lot. I'm just, as I say, in my order of things, I would go Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax, Metallica. I'm just not a Metallica fan.
Anthrax just sucked donkey balls to me.
That isn't a great argument. You've just literally just said donkey balls.
I don't like the party thrash stuff. It all sounds like it's 4 kids in a garage age who should stay in the garage and never come out.
But they all are like that. They all started probably in garages.
Yeah, but some of them actually had talent and decided
they're extremely
and
talented.
came out, and there's ones that should stay in there and never come out.
You're just very mean there.
To me, that's Anthrax. Megadeth.
I've got to admit, though, I've seen all of them live. Other than Slayer, even though it would go Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax, Metallica in a band I'd like to listen to, Anthrax is above Megadeth. Definitely live. They are brilliant.
I mean, Megadeth, Mustaine's voice is just so annoying, it puts you off everything.
Yeah, I agree. People never... I talked to someone he's gone to see Metallica X amount of times, he's seen Megadeth X amount of time, Anthrax like 3 times, he said, and Slayer like twice. He said if we could get Hetfield in the band, being in Megadeth, he would prefer, that would be his top one. Musically, he's gone, Megadeth are better than Metallica, but Hetfield's better than Mustaine.
Well, they used to be in the same band.
Yeah, it does help.
They both used to be in Metallica, so yeah. It's just Black Album's great because I liked the later stuff though, which wasn't really rock. It wasn't really metal. Sorry, it wasn't really thrash. It wasn't really wasn't really metal. Really, it was more the hard rock sound. I liked it, but I preferred it. But that's my personal. And Slayer went with Christ Illusion because, again, Slayer. They're a bit like the AC/DC of the thrash world. Every album sounds, it's. You know what you're getting, but this album, again, lyrically, it's the one I connected to the most. And System of a Down, they're just one of the most funniest bands out there. They can be serious at 1 minute and then go into the total absurd the next. And
that's really surprised me. Sorry.
And I went with Toxicity because it's just awesome. That's all you need to know. It's just an awesome album. It's no way to describe it. It's just brilliant from beginning to end. It's bob, just sing along and bob your head to it. It's just, for some reason, I didn't put it in my top 5. I can't honestly say why. I just went for a gut feeling.
That's fair enough. I'm just reading as we go and talking. One of the first ever songs to be classed as thrash metal.
Venom.
Or thrash. Thrash thing.
Yeah.
Queen. Stone Cold Crazy. Which makes sense. The song is thrash when it comes to it. It's a light thrash.
The thing about thrash was it meant to mix punk and metal.
That's completely the thing.
And I wouldn't necessarily say that with Stone Cold Crazy.
The way the music's written, Stone Cold Crazy is a perfect fit.
Tempo-wise, I could definitely see why.
And just the way the lyrics are, the vocals, the way they go on top, it's very thrash. And then, obviously, they go with Black Sabbath. One song. Symphony of the Universe.
Okay, well,
Sorry, it was just a random thing. I like to look, and then, they go Venom, Cup, few Iron Maidens, Motorhead, Speed Rock and stuff, Angel Witch. The usual ones, Priest.
Well, no, but if you say it's like saying you pick most genres and date back, but this is one particular song which started it.
But that's literally what they say.
It's like the first song that was defined that some people called metal was Steppenwolf's Born to Be Wild.
It's a great song,
which is a great song, but people say no, that's a rock song, not metal.
Yeah, I know.
It's one of those you can see. Yes, you can see signs and where it originated from. You can see, well, yeah, they got the tempo and stuff like that, but I won't necessarily call it the first thrash song.
No, that's fair enough. I think
Motorhead, yes, Motorhead definitely, because they mixed the punk and the heavier metal sound. They were the first ones to really mix punk and the heavy rock sound and form like a hybrid as such. But I disagree with the statement about Queen.
I don't know. This is just what it says. It's saying among the earliest songs to be labelled as thrash metal, Queen's Stone Cold Crazy, and this was described not by normal people, but by magazines and everything. Q Music was the one who said it in 2011 as being thrash metal before the term was ever invented. They never meant to do it. It just fits into what thrash metal is.
So let's quickly, before we go to your list, I'll give a shout out to a new band which came out I want to listen to. If you're into the deathcore, that kind of stuff, like Parkway Drive type stuff, there's a new band that I'm shouting out called Thou Art Is Murder. That's my new band shout out. What's your new band shout out?
I haven't got a new band shout out, but I'm just going to go with a band shout out, which I think we should do on a weekly basis. One band that we say you should listen to.
And that's relatively new. Well, I'm going to go for new artists. See, that's why I went with Thou Art Murder.
See, I've not got anything new recently. Give me a minute. I'm going to go with, just because I'm a fan of ska, new band, they've just released their first album, Jake and the Jellyfish.
There you go.
As I say, I can't I've got that in my car currently. Need to give it back because it's not mine.
Okay.
Jake and Jellyfish's whatever album, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head.
And up next week we're going to have a reviews of the new Stone Sour album, part 2 to the House of Golden Bones. And we're going to give a review to the new Killswitch album, the first album with Jess Leach back in the fold.
Yeah, it is an exciting time. As I say, I've only so far heard the single, and it sounds
alright.
It sounds alright. It sounds like Howard a little bit. Just the singing part of the album, very Howardy. Howardy.
So that's a bit of taste what we're going to do now. So we're going to finish this wonderful podcast.
Wonderful.
With the Matt's 1 or 2 that didn't make the top 5. Or 3, like I did, whatever.
I have no idea. Off the top of my God, I only picked 5.
Is there nothing that you want to say? This could be worthy of being in a top 5 as well.
I'd say Coheed's third album, whichever the one it is with the number 4 on it. Surprisingly, can't remember. It's got Welcome Home on. It's not for that song, but just as a general.
It's
album.
A long title, isn't it? It's a long title. We can quickly.
As I say, we can always look at it because he's got his iTunes open at the same time.
There you go.
It is. Yeah, Good Morning Apollo, I'm Burning Star for Volume 1, From Fear Through the Eyes of Madness. God, that is a long title.
That's why you don't remember it.
That's why I don't remember it. But no, I think that's a great album. Most albums are great from them. The last 2, The Aftermath, Ascension and Dissension, great albums. But no, number 4 thing, and I'm just currently reading the actual comics towards it. Other than that, there's a lot out there, but I don't know. Compared to, as I say, the Maiden ones, I don't think there's any albums out there. I would maybe say Fresh Fruit and Rotten Veg by the Dead Kennedys.
There we go.
That's a great album if you have never listened to it. I can't think off the top of my head, sorry. Madness. Pick any Madness album or the Specials if you like that kind of music. They're classic bands at the end of the day, which
Scar it up.
Yeah, Scar. If you don't like that kind of music, fair enough, but you've got to give them props for what they've done. That's what I would say. It doesn't matter what albums, just
Even
pick
I
a
like
band
Madness.
and try it.
Even I like Madness.
See, even he does, and he doesn't like Scar music. So good when you like that. Only thing is, I'd never go see him again live. Great live band, brilliant. Pissed me off royally. They waited 2.5 hours before coming on, didn't have a support, so you just stood there. Pretty much it seemed a lot of very self-promotion-y, but that might have just been me. And it pissed me off at the end of the night because I had to pay 13 quid parking. But no, that shouldn't matter at the end of the day. They seemed so self-promotion-y and thing, and as I say, they played brilliantly. They played for like an hour and 2 hours, but they kept us waiting so long, it was ridiculous.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We've talked to our heart's content about the music we love, and we'll see you next time at.
Oh, what I'm thinking on the Twitter thing at MW Music Podcast. Yeah, and I say there'll be reviews next week of them albums. There might be a couple more, but it depends what comes out.
And what we get through.
Yeah, there is a lot. We have work.
True, and comic books to read.
Comic books. Also try MW Comic Podcast. I got that right for once. For weekly comic talks where we talk crap about comics.
Which we'll be doing next. So, if you're joining us in the next one, we'll see you soon.